Hello my friends and welcome to episode 31 of our Football Manager 2021 Let's Play. Today we are doing our end of the transfer window review, if you like, before we play Feverenko's next episode. It's been a busy time. This is our really only major game. We did play Celtic, but it was in between the two Feverenkos games, so I thought we'll play the first game and then come back for the second game and go from there. So, transfers, we have had an interesting month. £37 million leaving, £4.7 million in, but no real any major names. We've got Jim Wood in from Dunfermline for 6k. He is a 16-year-old attacking midfielder. We've got Cammy Kerr, our big signing of the window, or one of our bigger signings from the window, in from Ross County, 1.4 million, rising to 2 million. He is a young right winger. He's left-footed, so we are retraining him straight into advanced playmaker, where I think he will suit quite well, to be honest. I think he's got a lot of traits that could work there. He is only 15, 4.5 star potential, which leaves me quite excited about him. He is only on a youth contract, which is slightly bizarre. It's because he's 15 and he'll have another contract, won't he? Yes. Provisionally agreed a 2k a week contract, yeah. We've got Stevie Hodge from Motherwell, 115k rising to 220k. He is a young fullback. I believe I'd be training him as a central defender. I am indeed. We've got Murray Kerr, another just cheap sort of 15-year-old. He's a goalkeeper. We had no, with Caventis and Jay Hogarth sort of pushing in towards the first team. We had no other goalkeepers in the entire youth system, so it was kind of prioritising finding a good young goalkeeper, and Murray Kerr fit the bill. We've got Mike Wilkie for 1.3k from Montrose. But it's just a bit of a gamble, this one really. He's 3-star potential, deep line playmaker by trade. I don't imagine I'm training him as a Mazelia. We've got Nil Sinho from ATM. I can never remember the Brazilians' correct names. He's already on loan at Vasco da Gama, I imagine that one is. But he is a young attacking midfielder, 18 years of age. He was a pre-contract sign-in, where I just proxed it early. We do have another few young Brazilians to come in January. We've got Max Bright from Bala, £450 for this lad. Can't really go wrong at £450. He is a right winger slash attacking midfielder, who he's going to play for our youth team hopefully. And then we've got our big signing right at the end of the window. Inaki Pena became available. Now he's a goalkeeper, and I thought it would allow us to loan out Caventis or Jay Hogarth. Both I'm not quite convinced are first team level ready yet. Unfortunately I couldn't find a loan for either of them. We'll go through that in a minute. Already worth £7 million, the former Barcelona man, but I think he's a step up on both our current backup, so it's a bigger wage than what I would like. On the outs, we've got Robbie Ewer and Kyle Semple away out on loan. We've got Glenn Kamara away to Udinese for 10.5 million. His contract was up at the end of the season. I didn't particularly have any interest in renewing it. I think if we sold a couple of years ago, we'd have got a lot more money for him, but as he's sort of not been in the team as much, his value's obviously dropped. The interest in overpaying for him isn't there. So Glenn Kamara just getting any money we can for him. Calvin Bassey away to Reims for £5 million. I just didn't think he was good. 5.25. I just didn't think he was going to be good enough, to be honest. I felt like we had issues with him, starting, and as you see, his games get less rather than more. So that suggests there's an issue. Mimno away out on loan, Lee Jonas away out on loan, Taylor Foran away to Hibs. I do not remember this deal. Made a loss on him as well. There's something that must have said this guy is not going to make it for me to sell him at that price. Probably because he's a centre back and he's probably the worst of all the centre back options that we have. We've got hundreds of centre backs. We've made about a 300k loss on Taylor Foran. Leighton Stewart away out on loan to Wigan. Bobby Carroll away to Derby for 500k. Big profit on him, 500k profit on him for a player who never really played for us. I didn't think he was going to make it once he was at the club, and we'd had some time to assess him. I believe his contract was up at the end of the season as well. Arnott, Kane Holster, Handling, and Cresswell away out on loan. Cresswell and Holster in the Championship, as well as a couple of others which we'll see further down. James Tavernier away to Sampdoria for 6.5 million. I seem to remember that I turned down about 22 million for him 2 years ago, and now we've got 6.25. Now, obviously, he's aged a couple of years, his value's decreased, but I feel like that was still the right decision. You know, it might have cost us a couple of, you know, £14 million, £15 million, but it's allowed us to get Patterson ready, Doig ready. We've got Conor Randall, you know, pushing on the door now as well. It's a shame to see the captain go, but I feel like now with all these guys breaking through, I needed to remove the blocking at the first team. The blocking at the first team was James Tavernier. I sort of removed him out of it last season. As you see, only 12 games last season. In fact, his games play has been declining every season that we've been here, 30, 26, 12. So that highlights that we were focusing on other players. Malcolm Abui gone to Bristol Rovers, also in the Championship. McCrudden away to Bora. Milsino, as I mentioned before. Mislav Orsic away to Bournemouth. 11 million rising to 13.5 million. He's already valued at double that, but he's 30 years old again. Again, it was one of those ones where I'd seen what happened with Tavernier. It was kind of like a right, let's cash in. Now, obviously, values go up as soon as you go into England. You know, he could be 35 and his value would have gone up. I also felt, you know, again, he wasn't going to get a huge amount of games. You know, he's had 49 games in 2 seasons, but as you see, a reduction last season. Good profit on him though, so I'm happy with that. Fraser away out on loan. Alex Lowry, not a player who I expected to sell this window, is away out to Burnley for 3 million, rising to 3.7. This was one where he did actually play a couple of games for us. As you see, 1 game, and where's the other game that he's played for us? When did he play there? 22, 23. Ah yeah, I did play him last season, sorry. And then I loaned him out to Elfsborg. But I expected him to break into the team this season. He didn't particularly do it. I'm getting myself all confused. When he did play, I don't think he played particularly great. Bournemouth came in with decent money now. We could have done that and, you know, whatnot, but it's kind of gone. Now I'm seeing an instant here where players are missing, so I'm going to just quickly have a look here. Yeah, there we go. This is a big one that I noticed. Nukite he comes in from Tranmere in League 2, just about, I think he avoided relegation by like a point last season. This guy is absolutely insane. We've brought him in for, what, £2 million. Absolutely crazy. These mentals are different class. Physicals are okay, technicals are okay. At 18, this guy could be something special. Nusate, leave a nickname for this guy in the comments down below, because I'm never going to pronounce his name again properly, but more than happy to pay that. So out, we'll cover off these guys. Sam Gallagher out on loan to Aberdeen. Ethan Ross away to Dundee. He was a free transfer. Doubled our money on Lewis Ferguson. Made a profit on Florian Coman, I believe. Yep, doubled our money there. I just didn't think he was particularly great. Sweet, Mockery, Probert and Shane Turner all out on loan. That brings us to Rakimi, who's out on loan to Bristol Rovers, and Ethan Jones, another one that we've made a loss on, about 30k loss on him. But again, I looked at him, I just felt we're not going to make any money off of him. I didn't feel like he was going to develop. I didn't think there was any way to progress his value. So selling him to Hamilton, who are in the Championship, he will, you know, hopefully go get promoted, increase his value, and he's got a sell-on clause in there of, I think, 40%. So, you know, any sort of success for him brings us in money. We'll make a profit off what we have initially paid. So that's kind of the risk versus reward. I'm kind of hoping that for Taylor Foran I've got similar. So let's have a look. Transfers. Robin McCrory, 5%. Yeah, that's fine. Who was I looking for? Foran. Taylor Foran. Here we go. Selling clause, yeah, so 50k. So we only need to get 50. We only need to get a couple of 100,000 for that. So if he goes to Hibs and be's a success at Hibs, you know, we can still make our money back on him. So we're reducing the risk and the loss of these players by, you know, trying to look after it as much as we can. Finance wise, we're back up to 125 million in the bank. We've got £127 million transfer budget left to spend with all those sales. We've brought the wage budget down to 588,000, so the wage budgets came down a bit. Committed wage spending with the ins that we've got to come in January, which I will go through this episode, is at 603,000. Players that I wanted to sell, I'm going to double check and make sure we've got nobody still listed, but that'd be the best way. Yep, nobody listed. That's fine. The only ones that were really major bids, we had a couple for Livakovic. I think we touched on about 28-30 million. And it wasn't from Tottenham. Tottenham was the lowest of the low. But it was nothing to proc my interest. He's upset they didn't get to join Tottenham. Benkovic, there was a couple, but nowhere near. Pavlovic was the big one. We had a £40 million bid for him, which I did accept, from Mönchengladbach, I think it was. They won't be here anymore, will they? No. But he decided to turn that down. The grass was better here. So, you know, fairly content with that, you know, so we've kept everything. But the big problem that I've got, as you see, if we have a look at our central defenders specifically, players that can play central defence, so, you know, I'll include McCrory here as well. And I'm also going to have a look and explain something else to you, why we've not brought in another CDM. So we've got Filip Benkovic, who we know is very, very good. He's on a big wage. I'm kind of hoping he doesn't get one more cap for Croatia, because that would cost his wage to go up by a considerable amount, but hey ho. We've got Charlie Cresswell, who's out on loan. Very, very good young player. Really important to get him out on loan just now because of how his development is going. Jamie Hamilton also out on loan at Elfsborg. Really important to get him out on loan playing games, because again, as you can see, another pretty decent player with a decent amount of potential. We've got Pavlovic, who we've just touched on. He's kind of peaking now, but again, an extremely good defender, and the team is a lot better with Pavlovic in it than out of it. Simon McGinn is a new promotion from the youth team. He's 18 years of age, valued at 2.2 million. We bought him from St Mirren. Never played a game for St Mirren. We bought him for £500,000, and we loaned him out to St Johnstone, where he played 32 games, and this is what he's came back looking like. What is this? This is absolute crazy stats. That loan has really, really worked for him. I don't know if we can see his progress. We can indeed. Look, it's just crazy. So I've obviously spotted something in him, and naturally, but he was in the under-18s, so he wasn't this good last season, I don't think. He's kicked on a lot. We've got Josh Stoy, who can play centre back. Obviously, he's playing more naturally right back, but you know, he could more than feasibly fit in across our back line very, very comfortably. He's extremely, extremely good. Let's see if we can get him running down the ball down the right, because that would be quite good for him. I'm not seeing it. It's maybe because that one's there. Maybe because he's already got the run down the left, even though he's more natural on the right now. We have trained him to be a right back from his original left back position because of his foot, of course. I'll maybe find some other moves for him. Nathan Patterson has filled in at centre back and can still do that. Don't think he's worthy of a centre back. I think he is much better on the right, where he's been fairly good. You know, he's got 81 appearances out there for us now, although some of them at left back, to be fair. Should be considering whether they should be starting to look at moving to a bigger club. That's interesting. Ross McCrory can play there. Obviously, he plays midfield specifically, but again, more than capable of fitting back in at centre back. Not the tallest, not the best aerial reach. Lewis Nielsen, we know all about, very, very good. We did have some offers for him in January, but it was nowhere near discussion term level prices. I think that they struggled to even meet his value. We've got Harley Ewan, who is the reason why I have not bought another deep line playmaker. I felt like he could move up there and do a very, very good job as a deep line playmaker, which is where he is currently training. As you can see, he has the stats for it, apart from teamwork and work rate, which are a bit of an issue. But again, he's one that, you know, we could shoot his value up this season playing him there, and, you know, either develop him or sell him on, and then find another deep line playmaker. So far, he's done a fairly decent job. Chris Rendell cannot play at centre back, probably could. I think that's it. But there you go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 players that can play centre back. 11, 12. In fact, Sam Campbell, as much as I want him to go further forward, could play centre back as well. Devine probably isn't good enough. But, you know, he could cover there in emergencies. You know, we've got a very, very, very strong base of centre backs that are coming through. We should not need to buy a centre back for a long, long time. Leon King, because I know there'll be some interest in him. Did I cover him? I did not, so that's actually 11. He's kicking on. I've got quite a poorly, you know, some of Leon King's stats are randomised, and I've got quite a poor draw on them, but he is kicking on. He did play this season. He has played against, I can't remember who it was. I think it was the first game of the season, and he played okay at a 6.7, but he played in the position of Pavlovic, and we know that Pavlovic is very difficult for me to drop. I'm going to end this episode here though, guys. We're going to skip next episode straight to the second leg against Fivarenkos. We'll cover all the results in detail so far this season during that episode. Obviously, transfer window is now shut, so nothing on that. But thanks all so much for watching. We're going to have a problem here because I believe we do have 9 players on international duty according to... God damn it. This. Not this. Calendar. But I'm kind of hoping they're youth players that are away just now. I'm not seeing any major names out here. But thanks all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit like, hit subscribe. I'll hopefully catch you all next time.